Thanks very much. A very, very warm welcome to you on a beautiful Adelaide morning. Thank you to all of you for coming to the inaugural Education Leaders Breakfast at University of Adelaide, an event that we hope to repeat each year as a celebration of our partnership, and a thank you to you for all the work that you do for us and with us in the interest of teacher education and training. Thank you. I'd just like today to, just get my notes. As a part of the community of this university, we acknowledge that we are meeting on Kaurna land. Kaurna people still embrace and long for their land, their beliefs and their way of life. This we recognise as a community. I want to make a very special welcome to our current Deputy Vice-Chancellor Academic, Professor Fred McDougall, and our current Executive Dean, Professor Pascal Cuesta. Pascal is the Executive Dean of the Faculty of the Professions, in which the School of Education is currently housed. So welcome to the both of you, and thank you very much. And I just would like to invite Pascal to the lectern to officially welcome you on behalf of the faculty. Thanks, Pascal.
Good morning, everyone. In the pure tradition of there is nothing like a free breakfast, you have to sort of listen to a few official words from the university. It's a great pleasure to welcome you all today in this facility which we have developed not that long ago and which I think we use for this particular purpose for the first time. So this is a very special day on all accounts. The University of Adelaide, of course, has been long established since 1874, and ever since the beginning it has been one of Australia's leading universities and has continued to strive for wealth and well-being in the state and in the nation. We as an institution have set an example of scholarship, of groundbreaking research, and also have produced many influential graduates, and this is really our mission and our contribution to society. But of course this is all in the past and we have to look towards the future. And towards the future we want to continue to strengthen our reputation, and we want to continue to increase and improve the impact we make on the world around us. You might already know this probably because we've already told you before, but in 2010-2011 the University of Adelaide was ranked 4th in Australia and 73rd in the world in terms of university ranking. That puts us squarely in the top 1% of universities in the world, and that reputation is clearly something we want to project towards the future. But of course no success can be achieved on one's own. And the reason why you're here today is because we welcome you today as partners in education, as colleagues in enhancing excellence in teaching and learning through your roles as educational leaders, mentors, colleagues, peer reviewers of our activities and programs in the workplace in relation to learning, professional development and teacher education. Now, our goal as a university, which is to be a leader in education, cannot really be achieved without the support and involvement of the community as a whole. In particular, educational leaders, such as yourself, will play a very big part through your commitment with the university in ensuring that we develop mutually beneficial relationships that will make us both better in the future. At the Faculty of the Profession, our commitment is to schools, to TAFE, to educational organisation in the state, and we wish to be shaping, recognising and responding to community needs and expectations. Those are essential components of our relationship, and we feel very much obligated to listen as well as talk in relation to the education of the future. In the faculty, we certainly hope to provide leadership and service in equal measure. We want to pursue common goals with government, with the education industry. If this is not a bit of an oxymoron, education industry is always a little bit of a difficult term, and of course as a community. We plan to ensure that our activity remain responsive and relevant to education in this state and indeed in the nation and in the broader global context. We can only do this in partnership with you within our common environment of scholarship, discovery and good citizenship. So this breakfast is only a small token appreciation and a small celebration of our collegial partnership and a recognition for your continuing contribution to the profession as educational mentors to our students. We thank you for sharing your wisdom, your experience, your knowledge about the profession of teaching and training. We thank you for your pedagogical engagement and your help in the workplace in general. We hope that this partnership will strengthen in the future. We hope that we'll continue to grow together, you as leaders and us as a School of Education at the University of Adelaide. We certainly look forward to explore new initiatives and new projects in partnership with you. For now, just enjoy the breakfast. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much, Pascal, and I have to say, without Pascal's support, we wouldn't be such a great School of Education, so we're most grateful to have you here today and for the support that you give us. For those of you who have not met officially, my name is Tanya Asmund. I am the Head of School of Education, and I'm delighted this morning to have the team from the School of Education here to join you for breakfast and some conversation. As Pascal suggests, we do have to have a few formal words of encouragement and celebration, so I'll just go through a little presentation this morning, but I would hope that you stay on after the presentation, knowing that you're very busy people. We do want to wind up around 8:45 so you can get back to your schools. So if you bear with me, I'll share perhaps a few thoughts with you and perhaps celebrate that the School of Education, and I will introduce the members of staff just shortly, but we are in a period of growth. We are in a period of development and change. Education has never been under public scrutiny like it is today. I think it was on the front page of yesterday's paper, and we're all together in this public scrutiny. One of the good things about being in this position is I'm going to meet with the Secretary to Peter Garrett next week with some of the other deans. And it's great that they're actually looking to us for inspiration and leadership, and I go to that meeting on behalf of the education community in Adelaide to try and press the Minister for some form of acclamation and affirmation about what schools are doing and trying to change from the negative discourse that surrounds education at the moment. So we in education are very much a part of trying to change that negative discourse, and we're working together as a team. You can see, I actually can't read my notes, I've made the type so small, so I'll have to go to the larger type. I was just trying to teach these young people over here what a Refidex or a street directory is, and they said, oh, you mean a, what is it called? A GPS. I was complaining that I have trouble reading it. Okay, so you can see there that our mission as educators and as teacher educators and trainers focuses very much on the South Australian community, but we're also trying to suggest to our graduating teachers that the world now is so close and so connected to their lives that we do in fact pride ourselves on preparing teachers for a global context. And your role in that is very important, and many of you around the table I know are connected very strongly with international partners, have international students, and you too share that global context. I think that's something that we do in fact have in common, and we can strengthen that by working together. South Australia, I believe, and from my own history from up the north and over to the east, South Australia has always been a state that leads the way. And we here at the University of Adelaide, as Pascal has just suggested, want to take on that role and work with you in leading the way in teacher education. We know we have 2 or 3 very strong competitors in this state, and we know that we've got to twist your arm a little bit to in fact stand up against those 2 very large institutions. We are small, we like being small, we're going to stay small, and we're going to specialise in our own specific areas of expertise, and we hope that we can continue to work with you in those areas of expertise. We don't want to become all things to all people here at the School of Education of Adelaide. We are in fact staying within our areas of expertise, which is the secondary school, and we're going to try and develop and grow that in a way that is most suitable for the future. So looking at educational sustainability and change is one of the things that we are focusing on. Thanks, Yvonne. Now, I won't go through all of this, but as Pascal said, we've been around for a long time, and some of our programs have been around for a long time. I bet there are many people in this room who actually did the grade dip at Adelaide. Would I be right in saying that? Yes, there are a few of you. And I meet people in the street and in schools that say, oh, I did the grade dip at Adelaide, or I did such and such at Adelaide. So we have a very strong following of graduates from Adelaide in our teacher education programs. The grade dip is still around, but only just. Those of you who've been following the federal agenda will know that the government is very keen to convert that one-year teacher development program into a two-year one called a Masters of Teaching or something equivalent. We've prepared the way for that. We have already accredited with the university a Master of Education Teaching, which will in fact prepare people in the way that the government suggests. We don't necessarily think that the grad dip is a bad thing. In fact, I think you would agree with me that there are many, many fine graduates from that program in your schools today. And it's a particular program for a particular type of person. However, that will change unless the Education Minister in Western Australia throws a tantrum and blocks the way, which is being predicted at this time. The ministers will meet, I think this week actually, to try and push through the new professional standards for teachers, to push through the professional standards for teacher accreditation, and if they do that, we will see the closing down of the one-year graduate diploma and the extension into a Masters of Teaching or a Masters of Education. So there'll be no longer any one-year trained teachers, although they of course have always been four-year trained. However, we will continue with our combined degrees. We think the combined degree, the Bachelor of Teaching, coupled up with a BA or a BSc or whatever, is a very strong preparation program for our graduates. We believe they get deep knowledge in their particular field as well as expertise in pedagogy and curriculum. So that program will continue. We have got a new Masters program that I will talk about in just a little minute. However, let's move on to the next slide. Thanks, Yvonne. Principles of procedure. We want to just highlight that we have some key principles that shape what we're doing, and I think these principles are very much in tune with contemporary education. We want to graduate teachers that are culturally inclusive and socially responsive in their orientation so that we can cater for the very diverse group of students that are in schools today and the very diverse communities that support schools. And I know, looking around this room, although you're from different schools, in every one of your schools that I've been in, diversity is the key challenging factor for teachers. And so we want to be culturally inclusive and socially responsive in our work. We do try to base all of our work on contemporary research, and I've got a few initiatives that I want to talk to you a little bit later on how we can work together in building the research quantum for education in South Australia. We want to be pedagogically engaging, and we want to deliver flexible programs, and I think that's the key to what we do. The next slide actually gives you a list of some of the people who you may meet in our work together, and a lot of those people are here today. Siva, many of you would know. Siva, could you just wave your hand, please? Many of you would know Siva. He's been with the School of Education for some time and is highly responsible for setting up the great team that we're working with today. Darwin, I think, is still delivering his children to school. He'll be along later. Tony Potts is a newly appointed staff member. Where are you, Tony? From La Trobe and via Cambridge. He is here, I think, somewhere. Yes, he's here somewhere. Grant Rodwell has arrived from Darwin via Tasmania, where he has a lovely property on the river there. Grant is an expert in history, and soon we'll be starting up a graduate certificate in National Australian Curriculum History. So I look forward to sharing that with you. We have Nina Maydad, who's over here, who works in the languages area. Some of you will know Nina from years gone by. Linda Westphalen, who is our sociologist here. Meredith Coleman. Now, most of you will know Meredith. She's the voice on the end of the phone that keeps pleading with you for more placements. So be nice to Meredith, won't you? Robert Matthews here is our psychology and learning lecturer. Ian Green. Ian, where are you? He's our IT man and has expertise in adult learning. Judy Thomas, our new appointee from Nazareth College in the area of languages. Gavin Khan, our lecturer in Indigenous education. Some of you will know Gavin. He's been around for quite a while, I think, haven't you, Gavin? Not long at all. And Donna Valarius in the back corner there. Donna's working on a great project with Francis Ben, who's just over here at the front table, kindly funded by the federal government to ensure all of our graduates are ICT literate by the end of this year. It's a great project and we're very grateful to the government. The other staff member who's not here is Peggy Lynch, who's flying in from Ireland early in July. Peggy has an undergraduate degree in industrial mathematics and has taught at St Flannan's in Galway in senior mathematics for a couple of years, so she's someone we're looking forward to welcoming to our staff in the future. And then we have our professional staff, Janine Donald, who is here somewhere, working at the door. Hi Janine. Margaret Scott, now this is the other person who you would know. Margaret has been with us for a very long time, I won't say how long. But Dr. Margaret Scott you would know from our practicum placements as well. Yvonne Philp, who's working with our first and third year students. Marie Norris, who you would talk to on the telephone. And we have two of our student advisors, the two Jasons, Jason George and Jason Cockington, who will advise you about programs. Okay, that's enough of that. They're all here. I hope you get to meet them shortly. Thanks, Yvonne. Look, a couple of the things that I think I'd like to share with you as by way of our partnerships in the future. Some of the schools around the table are currently working with us in these areas, and some hopefully will be very soon. We are talking about an internship program. We have a couple of MOUs signed up already with schools, which look at schools taking a number of our students. The magic number is 10 at the moment, and the schools become internship partners with the school for the whole of the year. So they do come to the practicum, but they do in fact become part of your school community. And this has been something that we've trialled at Handley High successfully, and Handley have come back, thank goodness, this year to reinvigorate the program. And there are a couple of independent schools who are keen to take it up as well. So what you actually get out of the project is a small group of students who are in and out of your school for the duration of the year, who do their practicum with you, but also are around to assist teachers, assist in special education, to learn more about the school as a whole, and to work with you on research projects, the development of materials and so forth. And that's a very, very successful program that we hope to look forward to developing with a number of you in the future. We have in fact started delivering professional development modules in schools, in your time, in your place, to teachers who do want to upgrade their knowledge around specific areas of interest. The one that we delivered in January on the other side of town, much to the frustration of the Dean at Flinders, was around the innovation of teaching and learning with a focus on ICT. So enhancing the pedagogical engagement of teachers with kids. We are, you may not know yet, but if the federal standards go through, all teachers will need to have a university training to become a teacher mentor. Now the federal ministers want teachers to be trained as mentors before they actually commit to mentoring. Now I don't know how this is going to work, I don't know how we're going to live through the transition period, but we're prepared to offer teacher mentor training to current teachers so that they can sign up with their local registration authority to be registered. We will actually give those people a fancy title. We'll call them University Accredited Teacher Mentors. They'll have a certificate to show that they have been accredited, and we'll renew that on a regular basis for you. So we'll come out to schools and do that teacher mentor training, and it's something that Meredith and I have discussed fairly fully, and we're pretty much ready to go on that if you're interested. Some of you will know that last year we ran a free program for teachers on research training, particularly in preparation for the research study that everybody was worried about in terms of the new SACE requirements, and we intend to run that again. We'll run those as winter and summer schools for people so that teachers can freely come in and spend 4 or 5 days. I was speaking to a couple of the principal from Modbury High this morning, and that was a very successful program. I think those of you who are here would agree. Not only was it great to give people a glass of wine at the end of the day and talk about how difficult this challenge is, but teachers really felt that not only did they upskill themselves in terms of their own research, but they had some really great ideas to take back to the classroom. So we'd like to repeat that program again. In some of the schools, we're starting to establish what we call a resident researcher, and the idea behind this is that you as a school can articulate your research agenda, and we can come down and help you engage in that research. Now that little asterisk there means that all of those programs may be eligible for teachers to gain credit in a Masters of Education if they would like to do so. Very quickly, so you can get on with your interaction, I'd just like to let you know that our new Masters program that we've introduced this year has 4 key pathways that I think you'll find most interesting: research training, leadership, measurement and assessment, IB, and higher education for those people who are here from TAFE. We also are developing a number of graduate certificates, and I think it's timely to do this, particularly in maths, science and history, and that will be available it's available now. And of course we are continuing, Yvonne, with our next slide, which is, she's eating, you can't eat yet, with the MPhil, the EdDoc and the PhD, if anyone's interested in talking about that. And then one more last slide, thanks. I just want to share with you that we are engaging on a number of new projects, and we'd like you to be project partners with us. And I think you'll find many of these interesting. We want to come to schools, like many other of our colleagues here at Adelaide, and assist you in mentoring students from low SES groups into the university through a number of different pathways. The university has taken this up as a very high priority. They're funding projects, and we want to develop projects that are most suitable to the students in your schools. We're going to continue with our Teacher Mentor Awards, which was a very successful event last year. The students actually nominate their prac teacher for an award for a number of reasons, and we have a celebration here at the close of the year where those awards are presented. We currently have a number of guest speakers travelling around schools, again trying to attract students into teaching profession, and a number of our prac students are taking up that role for us, together with other faculties. We are inviting schools to bring students up to the universities for visits so that we can in fact entice them to the university, not to be frightened of the university. And a couple of schools even have students plan to sit in our lectures and listen to lectures, just so that they get the feel and the smell of what a university student is like. We are currently working in our regional areas, building our networks there. We are developing some professional development centres, seminars for teachers around key issues such as NAPLAN, the IB, science and maths. We are engaging in, or we want to engage with you in school-based research training, so once again think about that research agenda that you might have in your school, and we'll come down and work with your teachers on building up their research skills. And as I've already mentioned, we're looking forward to our Teacher Mentor University of Adelaide accreditation program. So that's just a few of the projects that we're engaging in. We would like to invite you to talk to us today about whether you'd be interested in joining us in some of those projects. Of course, as we're talking to you, we'll be twisting your arm for practical placements. You know what dire straits we're all in on that mark. We're hoping that DEX will do something about it, but we're not sure that they will. We know that level 9 teachers now will be required to take our placements, but I don't want to spoil our breakfast by nagging you on those issues. I'd really rather talk to you about some of these new initiatives that we have and work the prac agenda along the way. So thank you very much for coming. I realise you're all very busy people. We do appreciate you giving your time to come and meet with us, and we would like to thank you for everything that you do for us and will continue to do for us. So thanks very much for listening. I hope I haven't spoiled your breakfast with these ideas. We do look forward to encouraging more discussion and more involvement in some of these projects. So thanks very much for coming along. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to take them now, but you may prefer to eat up your brekkie and get on your way. But thanks again, everyone, for coming and joining with us this morning for brekkie. Enjoy. Does anyone have a question? No? Okay, well, why don't I just float around and see if we can answer them that way. Thanks, everyone.
It's just that because it's taken so much longer to so we often do like from